Hello there, this is DBT and these are the runes. And alright, let's continue talking about Asphalt Legends, and today we're checking out the long-awaited Panther MAYHEM event. And I say long-awaited because, as you may know, these events can be absolutely fantastic for players, but the real question is this one good? Well, today we're gonna do the full breakdown of the event, and I'll provide you with a calculator so that you can check how much progress you can make in the event. But before I get into any of this, if you enjoy my content, if you like what I do here, you like my calculators, please hit the like button on this video and also subscribe to the channel. This helps the channel to be discovered, more people can find these videos, and as you know in YouTube, more eyes is more better. So again, if you like what I do here, please consider liking and subscribing. Just do it, it's free, come on. But alright, so this video is going to be a little bit long because there's a bunch of topics I want to cover. I'm going to talk obviously about the entire overview of the event, of the stages, the total rewards, but I also want to show you what kind of progress you could make even if you don't have a single one of these cars or any blueprints for any of them, because there's some progress to make and it's pretty good. I'll show you my progress as well, a very simple blueprints calculator, and finally I also want to talk about the pack for the support cars and the support cars themselves, because I see some people thinking like, are they worth it or not? But we'll talk about all of that. There's chapters in the video, so jump to whichever topic you care the most about. But let's get this started. Now, this event is going to be lasting for a total of 22 days. That's going to be running for quite a while, over 3 weeks. And I could go stage by stage over here and show you the rewards, but I think there's a better way to do it. And of course that is spreadsheets! Oh yeah, you know that I always do one of these. So if you're unfamiliar with these spreadsheets that I do, on this side you can see the stage that we're going to be talking about, how many conditions are required to get into that stage, which is the card that is required or featured in the stage. Over here, how many stars do you have the car at, you can fill it up, and depending on the stars that you have the cars at is the rewards you will be able to get. They're listed on this side: credits, token, blueprint or epics for the main card, the heiress, and the additional rewards as well. So that is the overall shape. But what I want you to see is how this event is set up in a way that there's gonna be some free tries for the main card, the Panther, in which you can get really good rewards, and then it's followed by some stages of the support cars that don't have the best rewards at all. So just as a quick overview of this, again, on the first stage you're gonna be able to get a lot of blueprints: 30 blueprints for the McLaren 600 LT, 15 for the Sonda Cinque, and 50 blueprints for the Aston Martin Zagato. Then you get into the support car stage for the 600 LT, and you can see that there's not a lot to get over here, right? Some credits, some tokens, and a tiny bit of blueprints if you have the support car at 3 stars. Other than that, nothing else. Gonna be the same for the Pagani Zonda Cinque, it's gonna be the same for the Aston Martin DBS Zagato. Then after that comes another one of the good stages featuring the main card, the Panther gold free try, so you can do this no matter what, and you can get an additional 50 blueprints for the McLaren 650S GT3, for the 4GT Mark IV, you can get 10 of those, and 35 blueprints for the Mercedes-Benz AMG 1. Then, once again, we get into another set of stages featuring the support cars where you can get barely any rewards for the McLaren 650 GT3, for the 4GT Mark IV, for the Mercedes AMG 1. Now, the only difference is that I marked this keyless free try because this is a car that requires a key, but it doesn't matter if you don't have it, you still have the free try, and if you have it at higher stars, then you fill it up depending on that. Once you're done with these 3 stages, once again we get into the good one, featuring once again the Panther, more blueprints for the support cars: 50 for the 600 LT, 75 for the Zonda Cinque, and 50 for the Aston Martin Zagato. After that, we get into the difficult part of this event, because over here you need the cars, the support cars, at higher stars, at high or max stars. So we begin with the 600 LT Spider at 4 or 5 stars. You can get some credits, tokens, finally some more blueprints for the heiress, even an epic for the support car, and miscellaneous rewards, which as usual is just those whatever packs that contain blueprints or parts for whatever cars, right? Nothing important to this event. Then the next stage is going to be for the Pagani Zonda Cinque. This is a 6-star car, and therefore it's set up that it requires 4, 5, or 6 stars in total. And you can see that the rewards are very similar once again: credits, token, blueprint, even an epic for the heiress, 1 epic for the support car, and miscellaneous reward. We have the same for the Aston Martin DBS Zagato, exactly the same setup. The rewards are also very similar. Finally, we make it back into another one of the good stages with the Ares Panther, a free try, and you can get an additional 50 blueprints for the McLaren 650 McLaren 650 SGT3, the 4GT Mark IV, and the Mercedes-Benz AMG 1. Once you get all of that stuff, you get back into the support car stages for the McLaren 650S, 4GT, and AMG 1. Once again, all of them at high stars, and the rewards, as you can see, are kind of similar. The only thing worth noting over here is that if you do have the AMG 1, the key car, at max stars, you can get the key right here. So there's an opportunity for you to acquire it if you're missing that key. And then finally, we get into the very last stage of the Ares Panther. This should not be a free trial. I don't believe that it is. Now, this is the stage in which you will be able to get a lot of blueprints for this car, which is another part of the Mayhem event. If you have the car at 1 star, you can get an additional 15 blueprints. But if you have it at 2 stars, you can get an additional 15 blueprints. If you have it at 3, you can get another 20, so on and so forth, right? So you see how the idea of this is for you to push and buy more packs to get more and more blueprints, because normally you don't get as many blueprints in this type of events. Normally in special events you can get like 60 blueprints for the main car. This time you get twice as much, as well as a ton of blueprints for the support cars. That is what makes these events really special. But the way that they are set up is for the event to push you to spend tokens so that this is worth it. I'll show you a little bit more of that as we do this video and the breakdown. For now, I just wanted to show you how, depending on how you fill this up, it marks the stuff at green and it starts adding up here whatever it is that you're being that you are getting throughout these stages. Stages marked in green on this side is because you have enough conditions to unlock it, and like I said up here, it adds what you've been getting, right? I think this is pretty self-explanatory. I think you're used to my calculators already. Now, like I said, on the top is what you are earning. However, at the bottom, you can see the grand total of the rewards in the stages. In this case, you can see that you can get about 2.5 million credits, a little over 1,000 tokens, 130 blueprints for the Ares, and 7 epics, unless I miscounted, but I think I counted it right. I try to pay a lot of attention that I'm not messing it up, but sometimes these numbers are wrong. If you see a mistake, let me know. But alright, so those are the max rewards that you can get over here, but there's also the milestone rewards in the event. Depending on how many conditions you get, you can get additional rewards. This is outside of the stages. Now you can see that the whole thing is going to be blueprints for the support cars in 2 batches. The first batch is going to contain 5 blueprints for each one of them. The second batch is going to contain somewhere between 20 to 25 blueprints for the support cars. And finally, if you do get into the highest condition numbers, you can get a few additional epics for the Ares. Now let's have a look at the grand total of the rewards in this event. That is to say, all of the rewards from the side plus the rewards on the side. Now this one is pretty simple because the credits and tokens are the same as you saw down here in the total. The only thing that changes is the amount of blueprints that you can get in total. For the McLaren 600 LT, you can get 105 plus 1 epic. For the Zonda Cinque, 120 plus 1. Zagato, 130 plus 1. McLaren 650 SGT3, 101. 4GT Mark IV, 110 and 1. Mercedes AMG 1, 101 plus a key. And finally, for the Ares Panther, the grand total would be 130 blueprints plus 10 epics in total. Those are the maximum rewards that you can get in this event if you manage to complete it to 100%. Now, we're gonna ignore this part for the meantime. We're gonna get back to this later. But now what I wanna show you is actually the progress that you can make in this event if you don't have any single one of these cars and you don't have a single blueprint for any of them. Let's say that you're a player that started playing not too long ago and you're like, man, another event, what can I get from this? Because normally in special events, you're kind of limited and like, I don't make progress, I just get a little bit of something and that's that. Well, that is the case over here, but what you can get here, it's actually quite impressive. So alright, Ares Panther, like I said, this is a gold free try, so enter anything and it's gonna fill it up. Because it's a gold free try, you can get all of these rewards. So you already got all of these blueprints, right? But like I said, you don't have any of the cars, you don't have any progress on this car, so you don't have the 600 LT Spider. Well, it should be a free try at 1 star, so just enter 1 because it's a free try, and you can get just miscellaneous reward, nothing worthwhile. So you might be like, ah man, this is not worth it, why should I do it? You should do it. Because then, with this, you have enough conditions to access the next stage. So, once again, Zonda Cinque, you don't have it, but you can do the free try 1 star, and with that, you unlock the next one. And you do the same, right? You don't have this car, but it's a free try 1 star, and there you go. This already gave you access to this stage, which once again is the stage with a ton of blueprints over here. So, again, free try, enter anything, because you can complete it either way, and you get this stuff right here. Now, with this, did you unlock any car? No, you didn't. You didn't unlock any car. So, for example, the 600 LT, you got 30 blueprints for it, but you need 45 to unlock it. For the Zonda, you need... actually, you know what? Come to think about it. No, it only gives 15. Never mind. 15 blueprints, and that car requires 30, so you didn't unlock it either. But what about the Zagato? You got 50 blueprints. That one requires 70, so you didn't unlock it. Okay, how about the 650S? You got 50 blueprints, you need 70. How about the 4GT? It gave you 10. Well, it needs 25, but you still didn't unlock it. And then the AMG 1, you got 35. Well, here's a funny thing. That card, you cannot acquire it anytime soon because you need the key. However, right here, right then and there, you can see that we already actually got some additional blueprints over here. This is still not enough to unlock any car, but you can see that you are making some progress on this side as well. That is what I want you to keep an eye on because we need to track what we're getting over here. Now, with all of these, you already unlocked this stage for the 650S GT3. Again, you don't have it, but it's a free try, so you enter it at 1 because you can get this. Then you got the free try for the 4GT Mark IV. Go ahead and mark it as well, and you make more progress. Then the Mercedes AMG 1. Again, you don't own it. You mark it at 1, and there you go. You didn't get... Again, these stages, you're not going to get a whole lot of anything, but the important one is that you already unlocked stage 9. Once again, the Panther good stage where you can get a bunch of additional blueprints. And here's where things start getting interesting. Now that you have access to this one, once again, you can just do this stage and get all of these blueprints. But now, it's the second time we get blueprints for the 600 LT. Remember, we got some up here. Now, how does that work out? Well, with this, you're gonna get 30 plus 50 blueprints, plus an additional 5 blueprints you got over here. You get a total of 85 blueprints for the McLaren 600 LT. You know what that means? You got the car at 3 stars. That's right. With this, you already got the car to 3 stars. Okay, but what about the Zonda, the Cinque? Because over here I got 75 blueprints. Well, you got 75 plus 15 over here, plus another 5 over here, and that gives you 95 blueprints. That is enough to unlock, enough to get it to 2 stars, plus some additional blueprints as well. So, you already unlocked 2 cars. You got a Class B car at 3 stars and a Class A car at 2 stars. Yeah, granted, it's not the best thing out there in terms of, well, it's just they are low stars, but you got cars for free. That already is incredible. Way better than other events. Well, okay, how about the Zagato? Because you got 50 over here plus 50 over here. That's a lot of blueprints, plus another 5 that you got over here. That means that you were able to get 105 blueprints. That takes the car to 2 stars plus some additional blueprints. Now, let's not forget, you already got these cars at higher stars, so that means you can complete more rewards over here. So remember how you couldn't get anything from these stages? Well, now you can at least get some credits because you had the 600 LT Spider at 3 stars thanks to the event, to just this event itself. You got the Zonda Cinque at 2 stars, so you got some additional stuff, and the Aston Martin DBS Zagato at 2 stars as well. And with that, you have access to another 20 blueprints of the 600 LT. You see how this keeps on adding up? You see how it keeps on pushing you? You can make more progress. You have to revisit a little bit, but you make some additional progress. Now, those 20 blueprints, I don't believe is enough to get you to an additional star because you're still going to be missing somewhere like 12 blueprints or so. But hey, still, you got it at 3 stars, so that's not bad. Now, with all of that said, let me just double check that I didn't miss anything here. Yeah, unless I missed something, I do believe that this is basically where a completely free-to-play player that didn't have any single one of these cars or blueprints, this is where your road stops, because you cannot make any more progress. Because from here onwards is the second part of the event where now you need the support cars at higher stars, and that's going to be way more difficult. Though, the 600 LT Spider, like I said, you're going to be missing a little bit of blueprints for the 4th star, so maybe you want to buy some packs, and then perhaps, just perhaps, let's say you manage to get the car to 4 stars, well, 4 stars, and you get some additional rewards. But as you can see, you're kind of stuck. You're still missing, you got 138, you're still missing a bunch of additional conditions to continue unlocking. So really from this point onwards, let's forget about this. You didn't spend anything. This is basically, like I said, where you stop. Now, if you want to continue making progress in this event, then that's where you need to have the car at higher stars. So over here is where you, if you're a player that don't have the cars but you have a bunch of tokens somehow, this is where you would need to start spending in order to start up these cars and continue making progress. And that will push you into eventually getting into this stage. Let's say that you did spent a bunch and got these cars to higher stars. Even a little bit more than this. Jesus, you need more than that, huh? Let's say 5 stars. Let's say 5 stars. And you still have not unlocked this thing. You see how difficult it is to get to this one? But yeah, for some reason you did manage to get all of this at 6 stars. Finally, you have access to this stage. And then you can get the additional blueprints for the McLaren, for the 4GT, and the AMG. Now, if you do make it over here, you can also finally unlock this McLaren. You can also unlock the 4GT, and you can start up further the AMG 1. But like I said, all of this is already the token progress, so yes. So again, if you want to use this calculator, the link is in the description. You can just open it. Once you open it and it's already full, just delete the stuff that is over here in the orange cells. That clears up this entire thing, and you can start filling it up again. Now I will show you what kind of progress I'll be able to make in my best account, because it's not a ton of progress, but I'll show you. Again, Ares Panther, it's a free try, enter anything. The 600 LT, I do have it at max star, so I'm going to be able to do that. Zonda Cinque, I do have this car, I believe, at 2 stars. And then the Aston Martin DBS Zagato, I do not have this car, but it's a free try, so you can do that. Then the Ares Panther, the free try, you can do it because it's a free try. This already actually, would I be able to unlock the car? Actually, you know what? I think I would have unlocked the car over here because of the blueprints I already had, but whatever. 650 GT3 I have at max stars, 4GT I have at max stars, AMG 1 I only have it at 3 stars, but with this, well, I also have access to this one. I can complete it, and I get all of this stuff. This should allow me to continue starting up the AMG 1, because these 35 blueprints surely will help me to get it to 4 stars, at least, I think. The Pagani Zonda Cinque, I definitely will not have it at 4 stars, so I won't be able to do this. Oh, wait. 600 LT at 5 stars. This one I will not have at 4 stars, so cannot do it. Zagato, I will not have it at 4 stars, so I cannot do it. And I don't have access to the Ares Panther event, this stage, unfortunately. I would like to get there because I want this additional blueprints. So I probably would have to spend a bit of tokens into ensuring that I can start up some of these cars. How many am I missing? 180, and I'm at 161. Yeah, this is where things get complicated, because even in my best account, because I'm missing some of these cars, I'm not gonna be able to get that far. Now, to be completely honest with you, I'm thinking of spending some tokens, but I have to really consider. But anyway, that is how you feel this entire thing. So again, link is in the description if you want to use it to see the progress you'll be able to make. Now, real quick, on this side, here is my mini calculator for blueprints for the Ares Panther. Basically, over here you can see that actually it's not to 5 stars, it's to 6 stars. Hold on. There we go, I fixed it. Now it says 6 stars. So in order to take the Ares to 6 stars, you need 240 blueprints. So over here you enter how many blueprints were you able to get throughout this event. So obviously it's gonna depend massively, but let's say that you got, I don't know, 20 blueprints for it. We're just still gonna be missing this many blueprints. And this is how much it's gonna cost you in the absolute worst case scenario, where every single 10 pack that you buy is gonna give you only 3 blueprints instead of any more, right? This is mathematically impossible because you cannot have that level of bad luck, but still I put this information over here so that you have an idea. But then, if you get a decent luck of getting 2 drops per 10 packs, then you would spend half of this, so there you go. Now, this is a little bit tricky, because you don't want to spend all of this. If you only got 20 blueprints, you don't want to spend all of this to get the car to max star. What you want to do is see if you can make it into these stages and get all of these blueprints, and in that way, well, you can get a grand total of, how many did we say? 130 blueprints. So if you got the 130 from the event, you're missing 110 blueprints to max star it. You would need to spend, in the best case scenario, well, in a decent luck scenario, about 16,000 tokens to get it there. This is not going to be hyper accurate, just for you to have an idea. We just wanted to put it over there in case anybody finds it useful. By the way, the packs for the Ares are unlocked right away. They don't have any requirements of, oh, you need this many conditions to unlock them. No, they're perpetually unlocked. Hopefully this is going to stay that way. So yes, if you want, you can already start spending tokens and just forget about all of the event and just spend your tokens, dump them into the car, and be done with it. Again, obviously, as I mentioned, these are going to be costing 900 tokens in order to get the 10 packs. As usual, the 10% drop rate. So yes, there's that. But really what I wanted to talk about is the support car packs, because this is where things can get a little bit Interesting depending on who you ask. A lot of people are going to give you completely different opinions, very, very subjective based on their garages, and my opinions are subjective as well. Keep that in mind. I'm not saying that I'm saying the ultimate truth, just giving you my thoughts. Now, here's the first pack, and that is going to contain blueprints for the McLaren 600 LT, the Mercedes AMG 1, and the 4GT Mark IV. Now let's have a look at these cars because I think it's interesting to check them out, because when you just see them like that, like, whatever, it's just some cars, right? But no, let's talk about it. First, let's go with the McLaren 600 LT. Now here's a screenshot of the car at its gold stats, and well, Class B car, maximum rank of 4075, and 5 stars, right? I already said that. Now the top speed of 340, it's quite average for Class B. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just right there in the middle, perfectly functional. The thing about this car is that it has an acceleration of 86.11. That is very high acceleration. It's not on the upper echelon of acceleration, but it's definitely very good nonetheless. Handling at 83 is also very high, and nitro at 74, it's also high as well, quite high. Not as high, obviously, as something as the Huracan, for example, but it's still really good. So this alone, remember, this car you're gonna be able to get to 3 stars, obviously at lower stats, duh. But this car is actually pretty useful. So already, if you don't have any decent Class B cars, this is already gonna be kind of good. We also are gonna have the, let's go to the 4GT Mark IV and the other Class B car. This one is a little bit tough to recommend. So the deal about this one, by the way, if some of these screenshots look low quality or different font, it's because it's from previous videos and whatnot, whatever, don't worry too much about it. But yeah, top speed of 366 is actually very fast for Class B. Not the fastest, but still very fast. The acceleration of 87, it's absolutely fantastic. The handling of 49, it's on the lowish side, not terrible, but lowish. And nitro of 60.20, it's just there. Now, this car on paper looks great. In performance and actual performance, it's a bit of a nightmare. I'll put the link in the top right if you want to watch the video where I was testing this in MP1. It was a nightmare. This car cannot drift. It's super wide drift. It's not floaty at all. So yeah, it has speed, it has acceleration, but you're gonna suffer with it. So it's not necessarily a car that I would recommend. It looks great, but that's about it. Now, the last car in this pack is gonna be the Mercedes AMG 1, and this is quite peculiar. Class A car, 6 stars, maximum rank of 4287. Now, in paper, these stats don't look super impressive, right? Top speed of 362, it's on the average of Class S, around 360. Acceleration of 81.53, it's ever so slightly above average. I call average of 80, so barely above average, nothing special at all. Handling of 76, 78, it's high, definitely, but it's nothing amazing. It's not 90s or anything like that. And nitro at 77, it's actually pretty good. It's pretty high. That one is proper high. But in general, when you look at the stats of this car, it doesn't look like super interesting on paper. But actually playing with it, I found that incredibly fun. Yeah, it's not the fastest. It doesn't have the best acceleration, nor the best handling. But in general, the combination of the stats of this car, plus the fact that I believe that it can floaty, I think this car can be quite strong. I'm telling you. I also made a video on this one. I'll put the link in the top right about now, so if you want to check the video I did, that was just a few days ago that I published that video. This car is a lot of fun, all right? That's what I can tell you. It's a lot of fun. I really like it. So these support packs are going to contain a pretty decent Class B car and a pretty decent Class A as well. This one is, I think, from all of the support cars, the one that is worth the least. It's a lovely looking car. I love the way it looks, but really the performance is very disappointing. How about the other pack? What does it contain? Well, this is going to have the McLaren 650 SGT3, the Aston Martin DB SGT Zagato, and the Pagani Zonda Cinque, all of them in Class A. So this already does look more attractive, right? Because this one is all A, while the other pack was 2B and 1A. All right, so what is the deal with this car? Let's start with the Pagani Zonda Cinque. Now, 6-star, Class A car, maximum rank of 4105. So the rank alone already tells you that this is not going to be like a super powerful Class A car, but still. The top speed of 369, it's definitely above average in Class A, relatively fast, not amazing, but relatively fast. Acceleration of 79, it's almost 80, so it's basically average. Handling of 74.76, it's goodish, it's on the good side. Again, nothing amazing, but good. And nitro of 73.22, it's also good. Not approaching 80, but it's still quite good. We have another car that overall the stats don't look too amazing. This is just faster, for example, than the AMG 1, but with less handling and less nitro, I believe. So if you've driven this car, well, you have some experience with it. If you haven't, I can tell you that this is a Very fun, very normal car to drive, all right? And this is where I want to make emphasis. None of these cars are going to be kings at anything. None of these cars are going to be jaw-dropping performance on anything. But the reality is that, and this is why I said that it's very subjective, people will tell you some people will tell you these cars are just garbage. You shouldn't care about any of these cars. Well, if you're a player with a garage level of 55 and you have a ton of other already super strong cars, then yeah, this doesn't look very attractive. But let's not forget that there's going to be a lot of players who are going to be in lower garage levels, and maybe this could be an opportunity to get some of these cars. Keep that in mind. The next one is going to be the Aston Martin DBS GT Zagato. This is the one of these that I have zero experience with. I played it at some point in multiplayer in a free trial, but really no idea. Having a look at the stats, we have another middle-of-the-road car, though kind of similar, with average acceleration, average speed, handling on the good side, nitro on the really good side as well. Not amazing, not the best, but really good. So you see how it's kind of a theme over here that these cars are similar in that sense, that they all have average speed, average acceleration, but goodish handling, good nitro. So this seems to be the case with this car. Like I said, I don't have experience with this one, so I couldn't say if this is a good or a bad car, but just having a look at the stats, it looks quite decent. Again, even the rank is quite similar at 4109, so yeah, that should give you an idea. Finally, we have also the McLaren 650S GT3, and oh boy, this is the one that I actually do like quite a lot in terms of looks and in performance. Because look at that, top speed of 357 is a tiny bit under the average for Class A. But look at that acceleration of 84.34. That's a strong acceleration. Not insane, not amazing, not very good. It's just considerably good acceleration. Handling of 85, it's quite high, and nitro of 78, it's quite high as well. In fact, this car is quite comparable to the Ferrari 499P Modificata, with the difference that this one doesn't floaty. And some people will hear that and instantly, this car is garbage, it doesn't floaty. No, the reality is that this car, even without floaties, is very, very useful. It's super helpful in multiplayer because the combination of acceleration, handling, and nitro just makes it really, really, really strong. And it looks great, so what's not to like? So, like I was saying, none of these cars are going to be insanely amazing if you're thinking like, oh, should I spend tokens? Oh, but none of these cars are kings. But really, I think the important thing to consider over here is what stage your garage is in. Are you missing some decent Class A car? Do you have some meh A cars that don't perform very well, or you have them at low stars or whatnot? Then maybe you could consider, because again, remember, these packs only cost 750 tokens for the 10 pack, and this has a drop rate of 15%. And each one of the drops that you get for them is going to contain 4 instead of 3 blueprints. So these are pretty good opportunities to get blueprints. However, this is the other caveat. You're not going to be able to make a ton of progress if you don't have a ton of tokens. That is the thing. These packs can be fantastic. It's a great opportunity to get a bunch of these cars. But if you don't have any of these 3 cars and you buy I'll show you. Might as well spend a little bit, right? You're gonna get this. Well, your chances is that you're not gonna get a ton of blueprints for the car that you're looking for. Look at this. Actually, this ended up being terrible. I only got 4 blueprints for the Zagato. You see what I'm saying? So, as usual, it's very subjective. It's depending on your situation if you think any of this is worth it when it comes to spending tokens on the event. Oh, and one last thing. If you're thinking of spending on the main card, the Ares itself, do not forget that there's also some blueprints that you can get in the Legend Pass. If you're free, then only 1 blueprint. If you're paid, you can get an additional 8 plus this one, right? So there's blueprints to get in those places if you want as well. So yes, don't go crazy spending. Take it easy on the event, you know, unlock things progressively, because that is, like I show you, that is the trick of the event. The fact that in run numbers, oh, I'll get this, and that. Yeah, but the idea is that you do this and you make some more progress, and then you can make more progress and unlock this and that, you know? So that's why I say take it easy. Don't go crazy spending all of the tokens right now. See how your progression in the event is going to go, and that'll probably help you to decide if you want to spend and where do you want to spend. So my closing thoughts regarding this event is it's pretty good if you have already progressed in a bunch of these cars. It is decent. No, I would say it's also good, even if you're completely new to the game, because at least you can get a couple of cars for free. But in the upper side, or the higher, let's say, I don't know how to word this. If you want to get the better rewards, if you want to make a lot of progress into this event, you are absolutely required to spend a bunch of tokens into max starring the support cars and max starring the Ares. So yeah, I suggest you to use the calculator a little bit to check the progression that you will get. because again, the very last stage on this event where you can get more blueprints for the Ares is where it gets complicated to decide whether it's simpler to just spend tokens and continue starting up the car through tokens, or do you want to invest on the other cars and start them up in the process and then still get more blueprints for the car in the last stage. You know what I'm saying? It's complicated. This event is a bit complicated in the way that it's set up. But hey, like I said, it can be a lot of stuff that you can get in a relatively free fashion, so what's not to like? Speaking of liking, if you like what I do over here, once again, like, subscribe. If you really want to support me, if you really are feeling generous, please consider joining the membership for access to exclusive videos with face cam and without the bleeps and all of that. But that's gonna do it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!